Wells Fargo. Our support of Aggie students goes beyond just banking. By supporting News22, we're giving back to the community. Wells Fargo. Together, we'll go far.
Tonight on News 22.
Sexual assault is a big issue all over the country, and NMSU is trying to figure out how to handle it.
Veterans are learning how to transition from military to civilian life.
And Brannigan Culture Center is getting into the spirit of today's special holiday.
All that and more on News 22 Thursday.
Serving southern New Mexico, this is the award-winning KRWG-TV News 22, where news matters.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Shelby Kapp.
And I'm Michael Navarrete. We open tonight with two issues that are plaguing our country today: sexual assault and the opioid crisis.
And first is sexual assault. Today, the Southwest Conference on Campus Sexual Assault was held at the DACC East Mesa campus. It was designed to prepare campus leaders to help individuals who have been sexually assaulted or victims of domestic violence.
So if a student reports that they've been sexually assaulted on campus, if they come to the Office of Institutional Equity, our obligation is first to deal with them, to help them, to keep them in school. We do an investigation. The investigation needs to be fair, needs to be impartial. In the event that we found that sexual misconduct occurred, then we make a referral to the Dean of Students Office. They determine the disciplinary sanction.
The conference also focused on issues of sexual harassment, dating violence, stalking, and sexual assault. The other big issue is opioid abuse. New Mexico is one of the states hardest hit by the opioid crisis.
And government officials all over the state are trying to figure out ways to stop it. Last week, the New Mexico Attorney General was in Las Cruces to meet with the law enforcement for Project Open. It was training for everyone who is involved in the opioid crisis, from law enforcement to medical personnel.
In some of my counties in New Mexico, I have babies that are being born addicted at 10 times the national average. This has to stop. If you want to peddle dangerous drugs in our communities, including in Doña Ana, there needs to be dollars set aside for treatment, education, and law enforcement.
I hesitated a lot, but I decided I'm going to go visit her and see what.
Treat the drug, is it also drug?
Attorney Hector Balderas is holding these meetings all over the state. Las Cruces isn't the only place in New Mexico working on the opioid crisis. Public health experts met today in Santa Fe to look for solutions. State Representative Deborah Armstrong helped organize today's gathering. She hopes it will help in combating the opioid crisis. Last week, President Donald Trump declared opioid abuse a national public health emergency without promising additional spending. Overdose death rates in New Mexico are above the national average.
Today was already the 2nd of November, and it doesn't even feel like fall.
It sure doesn't. I'm still wearing flip-flops. And Andres is here with our first look at weather.
Mike and Shelby, you guys are correct. It surely doesn't feel like fall, especially even right now. Temperatures are still sitting at a warm 72 degrees. You felt those westerly winds as well. Winds coming from the southwest at 16 miles per hour. Humidity is at 25%, dew point at 34 degrees, and our barometer sits at 30.11 inches. For today, we reached a high of 76, which is slightly above average for this time of year. We should be seeing a nice milder, more 72 degrees. But back in the year 2003, we reached a high of 82 degrees. And in the year 1966, we reached a low of 25. We didn't see any rain for today, but I'll let you know how long these temperatures are going to stay warm in your 5-day forecast. But for right now, let's take it back to Mike and Shelby on the desk.
Next week is NMSU. NMSU is honoring the military veterans here on campus. It's called Veterans Appreciation Week.
And here at News 22, we'll be profiling student veterans to highlight some of the problems they face when they come to school. Tonight, we meet a woman who's seen her identity change. Jackie Loetta reports.
Her roots are in Corpus Christi, Texas. From a young age, Katie knew she wanted to serve her country. She was always busy and always active.
I was super busy all the time. I didn't get home till like 7, 8 o'clock, depending on what day it was.
Katie joined the Navy at the age of 17. She went to basic training right after graduating high school. In the Navy, She served as a nuclear mechanic on an aircraft carrier. There, she made friends she is still close to this day.
I was with 30 of my closest friends. I still talk to, 4 or 5 of them. They're like my lifetime friends or my sisters,
Katie served with the Navy for 6 years, and she saw the world.
I went on a deployment in 2014 for 10 months, and I went to Bahrain and Dubai, Marseille, France, and Antalya, Turkey. I went to Athens, Greece, and I got to see those with my best friends.
She decided to settle down and get married. Her husband is from Las Cruces. That's how she found her way to NMSU. Her adjustment back to civilian life has been good, but not without its challenges.
The financial change, that's a real big adjustment. Going from, the steady, you get the paycheck the 1st and the 15th every month, and then going down. I'm just using my GI Bill and then this position here to cover it. So that's the lifestyle adjustment you'd have to do.
Now, majoring in engineering, Katie is finding ways to keep herself busy. She is now a member of the NMSU women's rugby team. Her coach can see her military influence on the field.
She's very organized. She's very excited to be a member of the team and do what needs to be taken care of for the team. Dedicated from day one.
Not all veterans adjust as well as Katie. For those who don't adjust, there is help.
But of those that do, yes, we provide referral service to our health and wellness center here that has counseling services. We also have contacts within the VA clinics.
Katie enjoys the teamwork of rugby. It reminds her of the Navy. She says that kind of connection is what every veteran needs on the return to civilian life. Jackie Loera, News 22.
And next week is Veterans Appreciation Week, and NMSU is preparing to honor its own veterans. The opening ceremony is Monday at 10 a.m. at the Aggie Memorial Tower. The Veterans Day picnic starts at 11 on Tuesday. Wednesday is Student Veterans Organization Day. Thursday, ROTC and National Guard recruiters will have games, a climbing wall, and information tables. And Friday evening, the Military Veteran Banquet at the NMSU Golf Course Clubhouse.
The first ever woman president for the University of New Mexico Board of Regents has been elected. Garnett Stokes made history and will take her new position as president in March. Stokes is currently the provost for the University of Missouri. She won over 5 other finalists. She starts her presidency at a time when the University of New Mexico and other New Mexico colleges are struggling with multiple funding problems.
And the NMSU Board of Regents are working on finding a new president for New Mexico State. They're having listening sessions around the state to get the ideas of citizens. Today they were at the NMSU campus in Grants. 2 more listening sessions are coming up on Tuesday, one in Albuquerque and one specifically for NMSU faculty and staff on campus at Dominici Hall.
Lots of retired people here in Las Cruces have big RVs. It's a home on wheels that allows them to go most anywhere in comfort.
But some of their neighbors aren't comfortable with where the RVs are parked when they're not traveling. News 22's Stephanie Cordova has the story.
People from different parts of the city are upset that their neighbors are parking RVs on the quiet streets, and city officials have heard about it.
We receive complaints across the city. The numbers of complaints have increased slightly over the last couple of years, but we're trying to propose amendments.
The new proposal will allow residents to park an RV with 4 wheels or less in front of their home for any period of time. But RVs with more than 4 wheels can only be parked in front of a house for 14 days at a time. The city is also proposing to limit the time allowed to live in or occupy a recreational vehicle.
We're also clarifying that they can't live on their RV on their property unless it's in an RV park or a trailer park, with limited exceptions for emergencies.
Some homeowners are concerned about people not respecting their neighborhood.
It gets to where the people aren't considered their neighbors, and it just makes the neighborhood look bad, drops down property values.
For others like 59-year-old Michelle Cabligia, who recently purchased an RV 2 days ago, living on an RV will be a type of freedom to enjoy life.
I can sell my property and live in this very economically in the state of New Mexico. It's only $200 a month to rent.
I think they need to do something to help everybody out, And I know the RV owners have rights, but you know, the people that don't have RVs and live in the neighborhood have rights too.
Public comments will be presented to the city councilors tomorrow with a possible vote by early December. For News 22, Stephanie Cordova.
Stay tuned, and Andreas will be back with your national forecast.
But first, Brannigan Library is showing off its Dia de los Muertos altar. More on that when News 22 continues.
My heart keeps going back to Nashville. This is Ray Stevens, and if you're like a true country singer, then you need to tune in this week to Cabaret Nashville. Gene Watson drops by to sing two of his big hits.
14-karat mine, farewell party.
Country legend George Jones said Gene was his favorite country singer. You gotta see this.
Saturday at 4:30 p.m. on KRWG-TV.
Sunday nights on PBS, the place to be for a full night of masterpiece programs, beginning with the Girls in Corfu.
I've got an awful feeling about this. Your husband is reaching out.
Followed by Poldark.
Your influence is great. There's much good you could do.
And The Collection.
You're a genuine fake on wheel.
The Girls in Corfu, Poldark, The Collection, all on Masterpiece. Only on PBS.
Welcome back. You're watching News 22 Thursday,
where news matters. November is National Diabetes Awareness Month, and New Mexico Department of Health is encouraging citizens to do just that, be aware.
Residents are encouraged to learn their risk of prediabetes and type 2 diabetes. Almost 635,000 New Mexicans have prediabetes. According to national estimates, only 1 in 5 people are aware of it. Prediabetes may have no symptoms at all. You can learn more about diabetes prevention by visiting New Mexico Department of Health. Open enrollment for New Mexicans to purchase health insurance is officially upon us. Thankfully, New Mexico's Health Insurance Exchange, Be Well NM, is here to help citizens make the right choice. Enrollment centers in Albuquerque, Gallup, Santa Fe, and Las Cruces will be offering in-person assistance in both Spanish and English. The open enrollment period began yesterday and will continue through December 15th. Additional enrollment opportunities can be found online at bewellnm.com. You always listen to what your mom told you. Eat your fruits and veggies. But according to a new study, what's on those fruits and veggies could prevent you from becoming a mom.
Mary Maloney explains in today's Health Minute.
An essential part of any diet, fruit and vegetables. Yet some produce may come with a little something extra, pesticide residue. According to a study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association, eating fruit and veggies with high amounts of pesticide residue may lower your chance of pregnancy or cause pregnancy loss. The study looked at the diets of women undergoing infertility treatments. Based on the U.S. Department of Agriculture's pesticide data program, avocados, corn, and orange juice typically have a low amount of pesticide residue. Those with a high amount include peaches, strawberries, spinach, and peppers. Researchers say more stringent study is needed to determine the exact link between pesticides and pregnancy. But if you are trying to get pregnant, eat foods with a lower amount of pesticide residue, or go organic. Just remember, that can be costly. Also, wash your produce under running water before you eat. For today's Health Minute, I'm Mary Maloney.
And today is Dia de los Muertos, and people in Las Cruces have the opportunity to participate in the Mexican tradition. The Brannigan Cultural Center in Las Cruces set up an altar for people in the community to come and pay tribute to their ancestors. The altar is open for anyone in the community to come and place photos, notes, or things that remind them of the loved ones that they have lost.
It gives them an opportunity to come in and learn about it. I mean, they may see it and they may not be too sure, but it's easy for them to come inside, and if they have any questions, we're more than welcome to answer them. But yeah, it's an opportunity for everybody to learn, and hopefully they could celebrate it next year.
Dia de los Muertos is a Mexican tradition to pay tribute to the dead. The Brannigan Cultural Center will have the altar set up till Saturday, and everyone in the community is invited to contribute.
I know that Dia de los Muertos is celebrated all around the nation.
Sure is. I wonder what the rest of the country is going to be looking like. Here's Andres with our weather.gov national forecast.
Well, hey, let's talk some weather. And if you look on this first map that you're going to see right here, it looks like a hot mess to me. And that is because we have so many weather systems happening right now in the U.S., but here in the borderland, well, we're seeing those westerly winds. And that's this low pressure system right here. Well, that was sitting over the coast of Southern California, and it's passed right on through. And what low pressure does, it makes winds go counterclockwise. That's why we have those westerly winds move into the area. But that's going to change moving into this weekend. I can show you that on your next map. And on your next map, we're going to see what's developing here. Well, the low pressure has now moved on through the weekend, and what's happening for your Saturday is this high pressure system is developing over northern Mexico. And what high pressure does, it makes winds go clockwise. So we have some moisture coming from the Gulf of Mexico pushing up into our region, and that's what's going to increase our cloud coverage. This system's not too strong, so it's not going to cause any precipitation for the borderland, but it is going to increase our temperatures by 5 to 10 degrees. So we're going to stay above average for this coming weekend and into the next week. But will we cool down? I'll let you know after the break.
The Doña Ana Arts Council, presenting the Renaissance Arts Fair, magicians, jousters, arts and crafts, food and games, Saturday and Sunday, November 4th and 5th at Young Park in Las Cruces. The Renaissance Arts Fair is New Mexico true.
Don't miss one of Broadway's best actors, Kevin Kline.
Thank you.
In his hilarious Tony-winning triumph as a British Best Actor.
I'm always acting.
In Noel Coward's comedy classic, Present Laughter. On great performances.
Friday at 8 p.m. on KRWG-TV.
Next time on A Chef's Life.
So the hams come in here and two guys will coat it with our cure mix.
I'm freezing. I can't move my hands. As a part of my dinner, everyone's gonna get a little piece of seasoning meat. It's kind of a joke.
What's the joke?
That we're giving all these New Yorkers like a smoked pigtail.
Oh, okay.
Saturday morning at 10 on KRWG-TV.
Good evening. If you're just tuning in, we're going to take a look at your current temperatures across the beautiful state of New Mexico. So right now in Roswell, we're looking at 54 degrees, Clovis at 63, Albuquerque at 65, 57 in Santa Fe, warm down south, 72 in Las Cruces, and 73 in Deming. Our expected highs for tomorrow, we're going to stay pretty mild out there. 78 in Las Cruces, 83 in Roswell, 64 in Ruidoso, 75 in Clovis, and 78 in Deming. Overall for tonight, those westerly winds are going to be in our forecast for tonight. I didn't put it on the screen, but we are going to see those breezier conditions for tonight. Low expected at 50 degrees, high of 76 for tomorrow, sunny skies. TRC, 46 your expected low, 79 for your expected high. Silver City, a little cooler for you folks up there in the mountains, 42 I should say, for your expected low, 71 for your expected high. Breezier conditions as well for tonight here in the city of the Crosses, a low of 49 degrees and a high of 78 with sunny skies. I'll let you know when our next cool front is going to be coming in your 5-day forecast coming up.
3 people are dead after a man shot up a Walmart in Colorado.
That man is in jail tonight. This is the first story in tonight's Southwest Minute.
The man walked into a store last night and started shooting. Witnesses say 47-year-old Scott Ostrom walked into the store calmly and began firing a gun, then walked out in the same calm manner. Thursday morning, a SWAT team stormed his apartment but was unable to find him. They did find him later and took him to jail. The bodies of a mother and her 17-year-old daughter have been found in an apartment in Houston. Police believe the shooting was a murder-suicide. Police say Karima Henderson had been arrested for trespassing at the same apartment complex where she and her daughter Victoria were found dead. Victoria withdrew from an online high school run by the Houston Independent School District. It is still unclear what led to the shooting. A police officer and the man who shot him are recovering in the hospital after a shooting in San Francisco last night. San Francisco police approached a suspicious vehicle and someone inside the car started shooting. The suspect and one officer had to have surgery. The police officer is in critical but stable condition. I'm Zach Covert with the Southwest Minute.
The MLB finally crowned a champion last night.
Who are you for?
I was going for the Astros, definitely.
And Abran Ramos is next with sports.
Thanks, guys. Coming up in sports, find out how the Aggie men's basketball team is looking heading into the season after their exhibition game. News 22 Sports is next.
Coming up on Austin City Limits.
Saturday at 9 p.m. on KRWG-TV.
On the next Infinity Hall Live, Snarky Puppy.
I believe in the music and I believe in my friends. The end goal is like a serious pot of gold, which is that if you can become successful doing the thing that you love, then you're kind of the happiest person in the world because all that anyone will ever ask of you is to be yourself.
Infinity Hall Live. Great music, pure and simple.
Saturday at 11 p.m. on KRWG-TV.
This is KRWG-TV News 22 Sports.
Welcome back. I'm LeBron Sweet Sugar Ramos, and let's talk sports. Houston, we don't have a problem. Instead, we have a World Series championship. Last night, the Astros beat the Dodgers 5-1 in Game 7 to close out their first World Series title in franchise history. After the tragic events of Hurricane Harvey, George Springer was named the World Series MVP and was excited to win the championship for the city and the fans.
I'm so happy to be a part of it, to bring a championship back to a city that desperately needed one is a surreal feeling.
The New Mexico State men's basketball team is trying to find their rhythm after barely beating Southeastern Oklahoma Wednesday night. The exhibition game was a first for the new Aggie team. The Aggies got off to a slow start offensively, but were able to put points on the board thanks to Jonathan Wilkins. The Aggies carried their momentum, forcing 18 Savage Storm turnovers and won the game 90-83. Chua carried the Aggies with 26 points and 7 boards. Even though they won, Coach Chris Jan was not satisfied.
I think we got to tip our hat to them and coming in here, and they could have gone away a few times. They kept fighting back and clawing back and made some tough shots. But our defense is something that I think will be a staple of our teams and our program. And in our first outing, it wasn't very good.
The Aggies will head to Midland, Texas to take on Texas Tech in a charity relief game on Sunday. The Oñate Knights and Centennial Hawks kick off at Aggie Memorial Stadium tonight at 7 p.m. Oñate is 2-7 overall and 2-3 in district. Centennial is 4-5 overall and 3-2 in district. If the Hawks take the win tonight, they will score a spot in the Class 6A state playoffs. This is the first time that these high schools will play in Aggie Memorial Stadium besides the Trojans and the Bulldogs. Speaking of the Trojans and the Bulldogs, the long-awaited rivalry game is tomorrow night. The game fills the stadium with more than 20,000 fans. Kickoff is at 7 p.m. The NMSU football team is coming off a tough homecoming loss this past weekend, and Coach Doug Martin is letting it be known that the Aggies have a tough task ahead of them for their next game.
Need to rebound off of a tough game from last week, and won't be an easy chore at Texas State. This is a really a good football team when you look at them statistically. I think they are third in the conference in total defense right now. They're one of the tops in the conference in third down defense.
The Aggies will be playing Texas State on Saturday at 1 p.m. in San Marcos, Texas. And that's all for sports tonight. Join us for more sports action tomorrow. Still ahead on News 22, Andres will be back to take a look at your 5-day forecast. But first, one lucky woman made the escape of a lifetime. More on that when News 22 continues.
On Masterpiece.
The hero of campaign.
Your husband is a reluctant hero, but England may yet have need of him.
Truro lacks an MP.
Your influence is great. There's much good you could do.
I'm no Leonardo. You are surely Mona Lisa.
Poldark on Masterpiece.
Sunday at 8 p.m. on KRWG-TV.
On Masterpiece.
It's time you stopped seeing me as the pebble in your shoe, my dear.
We're both on the same side. I can't keep apologizing.
You're a genuine fake, aren't we all?
No more lies. The Collection on Masterpiece.
Sunday at 9 p.m. on KRWG-TV.
Welcome back. Let's go ahead and take a look at our top stories. After serving their country, veterans have to transition back into a civilian lifestyle. We saw one woman who has used rugby as a way to help her. Residents of Las Cruces got to see just how to celebrate Dia de los Muertos. The Brannigan Cultural Center had a Day of the Dead altar on display to celebrate the Hispanic holiday. And people in Las Cruces neighborhood are up in arms over people taking up street space with their RVs.
A kidnapping victim made an escape from the trunk of a car that her alleged captor was driving, and it was all caught on camera. Police in Alabama say a man broke into a woman's home the day before Halloween and kidnapped her. When he stopped at a gas station and went inside, the woman popped open the trunk and ran for help. When the woman entered the gas station, the suspect fled. The man, Timothy Wyatt, was later found and taken into police custody. He is being charged with robbery, kidnapping, and domestic violence.
Whoa, that is a crazy
Right?
story.
That's some good footage too. What are the chances you get that on
Yeah.
tape?
Honestly, especially at a gas station like
If nobody
that.
believed her, she has the
Proof,
video.
right?
I know, right? Well, we're going to take a look at your 5-day forecast of the weekend, always in view. We're going to stick to those mild temperatures into the weekend, but those winds are going to be a pesky problem for your afternoon hours. Mostly that's when they really kick up. So we're going to stay breezy. That high pressure is going to make give us a little more cloud coverage for your Saturday and Sunday. And it looks like just a mild week ahead of us. Not feeling like fall. I don't know about you, but that kind of bums me out.
Right? I want to see some.
At least we had a mild Halloween. I mean, normally it gets way colder at Halloween, so.
Well, if you remember last Halloween, we actually were in the 80s. It was actually really hot, and this time actually felt like more a little spooky, you would say.
I guess that's better than to get more into the
That's true.
fall spirit and Halloween.
Don't
mood.
forget, you can catch all of today's aired stories and past newscasts on our YouTube page at youtube.com/KRWG News 22.
And follow us on Twitter and Instagram for show updates and the latest on what the News 22 team is up to.
And that's all for News 22 Thursday. Thanks for joining us tonight.
And don't forget to turn back your clocks this coming Saturday because I know I'll forget, so you don't wake up, so you save an hour of sleep for your Sunday.
Sounds good to me.
And tune in next week for more of the Southwestern News.
I'm Michael Navarrete.
And I'm Shelby Cap.
And I'm Andres Valle.
Good night.
This news brief in Español is brought to you by Noticias 22, Spanish language news for southern New Mexico and West Texas. Noticias 22.
Bienvenidos a Noticias 22, les saluda Melissa Barraza. Es identificada la mujer que murió tras recibir disparos de un sheriff del condado de Doña Ana. Heather Deneen Burbrick, de 37 años de edad, es originaria de Nueva Orleans, Luisiana. El martes alrededor de las 9 de la noche, 2 llamadas al 911 reportaron a Burbrick, quien se encontraba en la calle La Pradera, diciendo que alguien intentaba matarla. Al llegar los oficiales al lugar, la mujer salió de un cobertizo donde se escondía armada con un hacha y acercándose a un oficial. Fue entonces cuando este agente disparó 2 veces contra la mujer, quien murió. Se reporta que la mujer había sido dada de alta de un centro de salud mental en El Paso días antes de que este incidente ocurriera. El agente de 47 años responsable de los disparos se encuentra en una baja administrativa mientras continúa esta investigación. 2 hombres de Las Cruces se encuentran tras las rejas por sospecha de robo en una tienda Walmart. David Curtis, de 37 años, y Brian Robinson, de 38, ya cuentan con un cargo de robo. El miércoles a las 3 de la mañana, la policía de Las Cruces fue llamada a la tienda Walmart en la calle Valley. Según el reporte, los 2 hombres fueron vistos abriendo un empaque electrónico y ocultando mercancía. Los 2 sospechosos salieron de la tienda individualmente, pero pronto fueron capturados. Parte de los artículos robados fueron puestos en una caja de una aspiradora y los demás artículos en sus bolsillos. El costo aproximado de los artículos robados fue de más de $1,800. Curtis y Robinson se encuentran detenidos inicialmente sin fianza en la cárcel de Doña Ana. Para Noticias 22, yo soy Melissa Barraza.
Local support for a portion of today's programming is provided by Wells Fargo. Our support